Hello there, this is Russ Bucher from ControlMyNikon, and in this video we're going to take a look at how we can capture the images that you need to create a stop motion video. So I've set up a scene here, and as you can see it's just on a white table, and I have a backlight and a couple side fluorescent lights as well. I have a D800 with a macro lens, and it's just laying on the table. Now the first thing we need to do is go over to the workflows and stop motion. So this is going to show all the captured images for your stop motion, and we're going to be storing those images here. Z images, and I've added a subfolder, scene 1, so you can have one folder per scene if you like. You just add it as you need, and you could even create profiles with different folders. And we're going to take a look at some options here. First thing we're going to do is define what our target frame rate is. So let's say that we want to have a video that's going to be 8 frames per second. Okay, so I'll set it at 8. And we'll capture our first image. So I'm going to turn on the grid here in live view. So I'll go up to View, Layers, Grid, Visible, and I'll just turn down the opacity a bit. And I'm going to turn off that focus box. Okay, so we're focused in on this, and we will capture. Okay, so there's our first image, and you can see here it shows that it's frame number 1, and it shows the time index of when it will appear in your video. So just after 1/10 of a second. Keeping in mind there's just 8 frames per second. I'm sitting at my computer here, and the scene I have set up is on a table behind me. So to have to go back and forth to the keyboard and everything would be a pain. So what I've done is I've dusted off my PowerPoint remote. Now we have a separate tutorial video on configuring keyboard shortcuts for use with a PowerPoint remote. But I'm going to use this remote with shortcuts, so it will capture an image by pressing a button on the remote, and that it'll do a replay of the images captured so far, and then it'll flip as well between my current view and live view and my last image. Then I can just walk over to the scene with my remote, set it down, arrange things, and when it's ready to shoot, I'll just press the button and I'm good to go, and I don't have to go back to the computer. I can see the monitor from where I'm composing my scene. So to set it, you just go to the Tools menu, Shortcuts, and so I have the Shoot button. It shows as Escape, and that's one of the buttons on the PowerPoint remote. It's really just a little mini keyboard. Now if you go down to SM, and these are the special actions that we can assign keystrokes to. One of the buttons on my PowerPoint remote is B, and it's going to be used to flip between what I'm currently seeing in live view and my most recently captured image. So I can kind of see how much to move things. So I have another button for replay, and this will replay my captured images back to me at 8 frames per second. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the scene and start moving things. Okay, to start off, I'm going to do a focus pull, and that means I'm going to just change the focus a little bit closer to the camera, because I'll be bringing some elements in the scene at that location. So to start off, I'm going to do a focus pull. So I'm going to bring the focus towards me, and I'll just use this focus button up here, and the amount that the focus moves is set right here under Focus Step. Okay. Change the focus. Then I'll capture. change the focus, and capture. And I'm just using the PowerPoint remote to capture, but you could use this button down here as well. Change the focus, and capture, and we'll keep on going a little ways. So if you'd like to see the progress so far, you can use this right here. And this is like a little mini image browser. You still have the main image browser over here. However, this one allows you to have live view up at the same time as be able to see your captured images. And so if I move the slider here, you'll see it change. So it starts off here, and you can see it progressively going out of focus. Okay, so that's part of our focus pull. Now if I press replay, you'll see it play at 8 frames per second. Not too much to see so far. And if you put in loop, when you hit replay, it'll just keep on looping. And you could stop it, and you could play from the current marked position. Once you get a lot of frames here, you may not want to start at the beginning all the time. You'll be able to just click on a frame, right click, and go mark begin. And then when you hit replay, it'll go from mark begin to your most recent frame. So that's one way to see the progress so far. The other way is to use the live view scrubbing. So this will overlay the image on top of the live view window. So if I set the opacity to 100%, it's going to completely overlay our past captured images on top of live view. You won't be able to see what's in live view underneath. So now we'll try to scrub. You can see that it does it up here and in live view. Now if I hit replay, it does it in both. And I'm just going to turn off the loop. To replay. Okay, so far so good. Now if you wanted to, you could make your replay show up in grayscale so it's easier to tell apart from what's currently in live view, which is this. See, I've disabled the live view scrubbing. If I enabled, this is the history. Now you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard as well to go back and scrub through the captured frames. And when you do that, it'll show that it's showing history up top. So this was our very first frame. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So this is the 1 second point right here. 8 frames per second. So I only have 8 frames right now. You see 8 of 8. If I press the right arrow key again, it's going to flip into live view mode and it'll show you what it's currently looking at in live view. So if I press the right arrow key, that's live view. And that history banner went away over here. Press the left arrow key, shows me my history. What you can do is flip between live view and the most recently captured. And you can specify a key on the keyboard or the PowerPoint remote to do that. So when I flip with my keyboard shortcut, it shows my current live view, which is this out of focus and in color image. I press my flip button and now it shows me the most recently captured image. And you can see all it's turning is live view scrubbing on and off. Okay, we're going to keep on focus pulling. So I'll change the focus again and capture. Change it again, capture, And that should be the last time I need to change the focus there. Now I'm going to go over to the scene and bring in some other objects, and hopefully I have them in the correct plane of focus. Now while I did that, I think I accidentally moved that little house in the background. So how do you get the house back to its original position if you've done that? And what we can do is use the live view scrubbing to check its position. Okay, it looks like I didn't hit it. It's still lined up. Okay, let's play it back. As you can see, when we're doing the replay, it's overlaying the captured images on top of the live view images. But you can adjust the opacity here as well. But if I just make it 100%, we're just going to see what we've captured. If I turn live view scrubbing off completely, then you can only see it up here. And if you'd like to see it in larger format, just go to the browser and you can use your mouse wheel to cycle through the images, or use the arrow keys on the keyboard. Okay, I'll keep adding more frames. And as you can see, that frame is no good because my thumb is in it. So you can delete any of these at any time. I'm just going to right click here and go delete current image. And we'll shoot that again. There we go. Okay, time for a quick replay. And I'll flip it onto live view. We'll replay it here. So far, so good. Almost done. So we're doing the replay on live view here, and you know, we're getting quite a few frames, and I don't want to have to go all the way back to the beginning. In fact, I'd like to start my replay from right about when they join here and just before they turn. So I'll go here, right click on this particular frame and say mark begin. And you see this green line, that means that any play or replay will start here and will continue throughout the green line. So if I go replay, always starts here. This saves you a little bit of time so you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. Now I'm looking at the focus here, and I'm just going to double check my focus. I'm just going to double click. Yeah, it was pretty close, but I'm just going to capture this new one in focus. And I'll replay. And if I want to replay it in color, you just take off grayscale. But the reason we have grayscale is so that we can tell the history and the current live view display apart. And actually, when you look at that last frame, you can see it jump a little bit because I focused. So I'm going to delete this last frame. And we're up to 39 frames, which is almost 5 seconds. We'll try it again. So now if you want to replay the whole thing, you just right click and you can go clear marks and replay. Replay will always mark the whole thing for playing. One of the best parts about this is the ability to map those keyboard functions to a remote like this, because I was able to stand over at the scene and work on things and not have to run back and forth to the computer. As long as you can see your monitor okay, you can keep on hitting the replay button or flipping between the current view and your last captured image. And it makes things a lot easier. So let's say at this point that our masterpiece is complete. Now, ControlMyNikon does not process this and create a video for you, but there's quite a few third-party applications out there, including some free ones that allow you to do that. And then you can add some special effects, maybe some music for these musical pigs here. And that's it. That's how you capture the images needed for a stop-motion video in ControlMyNikon. Happy tethering!